Hello, welcome to another video by Indicator Vault. This is Ronald, and in this video we're going to go over just some price action here with the Euro US dollar, the 30-minute chart. And I've just got two indicators on the chart here. It's the order block gen and the candle meter main, and then obviously the candle meter comes with two parts. It comes with the panel down here as well. And we're not going to do too much with the panel. I'll touch on it in a little bit later on. But I wanted to just point out maybe just some simple things to look for with these two things, and how the candle meter can help confirm certain order blocks. So let's start right before this big up move. With this order block, this bullish order block forming here, a move up, retraces back down into it, and obviously moves up, and then, huge candle up here. So one thing the candle meter is great for is obviously, as its name, indicates, the meter, it's measuring, the strength of certain candles. And obviously the blue colors will be for bullish candles as they relate to, the candle, with the number below or above it. And obviously the red numbers for red candles, for down moves. So what I like to look for is, for certain confirmations, we got this bullish order block form. And then when we see this high, and this high is taken with this green candle. Now obviously you can come up with your own numbers that you may want to look for, but something that the candle meter can help with is pairing with an order block that when the most recent high is taken by a candle, to see a certain number reached. So for instance, in some of these examples we're going to use 80 as a number. You want to see a high taken and the candle have at least a blue 80, with an up candle, to help confirm the strength of this order block holding. So we see that here. We see this candle, the candle that took that high, 83. And then we can also see the next high that was taken with this candle at 81. Now look over here. Yes, this high was taken, but if you see here, the candle that took it, it's a much smaller candle than these. And not only that, its number is 73, so below 80. Now, of course, like I said, you can come up with your own number. 75 might be a good number. 70 might be a good number. But just for this example, we're going to just use 80. That you want to look for 80 or above to take a high. So even though it did take this high, the candle meter is kind of telling us these candles aren't super strong that are taking it. And of course, we see an 89 here, but even this candle fails to go above, these two candles that first took the high. So kind of our first sign of some weakness, some consolidation, finally runs above it, and then tanks right into the order block. And then what do we see? Goes into the order block, never takes the low, and continues up. So that's one way you can use the candle meter to just help confirm the strength of the original move where price, the up move originated from. So for instance, let's say an order block formed right here, a bullish one. But, the strength of it never really indicated much. Yeah, it took the high, but there was no clear confirmation of a strong up move originating from it. So we would be suspicious of price taking the low of the order block before it did anything, and that the order block would not actually hold. So the reason we can trust this zone here is because 1 and 2 times we saw strong candles go above the most recent high. So we can believe that the low of this order block will hold. Let me clear these up. And let's go. Well, first let's mark out. We've got this order block. And we do have this order block. Now, while price is not, as I go to the present price action, price has not gotten down here. But using that same logic, we can probably believe that this order block will hold, and it may not need to come down to this one. Sure, it could poke below it before moving up, but if we see this high was not closed above with a strong candle, very weak candles moving up, only until we see this one with 92 breaks above this high originated from this order block. Now, of course, with the bullish order blocks being so close together, when price gets down here, we'll probably need to go into smaller time frames and look for, extra confirmations, not just blindly enter on this first one. But with this strong up move, using that same logic, we can believe this one will hold. A 92 candle breaking above this high. Now, let's go into this example. You see I already have it marked out. And this is just another tip to kind of filter out order blocks and zones, and just how to view manipulation, which we can see this clearly manipulation. So we see this bearish order block form. And not only that, it does take this low, and it does take the low of 90, look at that red candle, 96 and 4, a strong bearish close below this low. But what does it do? Spikes way above it. This was probably news related, maybe FOMC or CPI numbers coming out. And so big manipulation. We can see in just these two candles, it stays above the high and then takes the next low. So with that logic, but again, this bearish order block still met the criteria. It took the low, and obviously not even this low. This is the most significant low. But we can even see, the next low after the order block is taken with a strong candle. But the reason I have this marked out is if this is true manipulation, then that means this is actually the real high. This is actually the real order block. I know this is marked out as a bearish order block, and technically it does hold, as we see price does retrace into it, and then as of right now it's continuing to fall. But just because this order block, for one, is so big, and it's just manipulation, I'm not really paying much attention to this price action. This is basically just a distortion in price action. So in reality, I'm viewing this as the real order block, right? I can almost ignore the run on the stops here. And of course, what do? We do see another break of structure. And while price does close with this candle, the big candle doesn't quite close above it. But again, this one has still met the criteria. Price retraces perfectly into it. We can see a number of candles touches it. The bottom of this order block never closes above it. And then as of right now, looking like a good move down as it's creating new lows along the way. And then, of course, let's say you didn't quite get into here. Let me remove some of these. We have another bearish order block, but we don't see any break of structure yet with this one, right? Just a little small wick here. then goes up, takes the high, but then boom, now we see that break of structure. Breaks this low, even breaks this low, strong down candle at 95. So we can now expect this bearish order block to hold, which it does. Goes up, just pokes into the wicks here, then falls. Doesn't quite get up to this order block, but again, this one, or I should say, it doesn't get up to it again. But if you've gotten in here, you're fine. There's other, going into the 15-minute, 5-minute, I can guarantee you will probably show some smaller order blocks here where we can get on a retracement. This does look like it'd probably be about a 61.8 or 75 retracement level here. But just repeat the process. This order block holds. It meets the criteria. Strong down candle close. Goes below this low. Not quite this low yet, but it does take the low that caused this high has been broken by a candle that meets the criteria over 80. So we can believe this bearish order block will hold. That's what it does. Retraces into it, not very deep into it, but nevertheless, it still hits the order block, and so far it's continued down. And then we can just repeat that process all the way down to this example to see what it looks like here. Again, we'll just have to dissect maybe the 5-minute, 15-minute time frames once price gets into these order blocks to better see which one might hold. So this is a short video, on the candle meter and the order block gen. Oh, and before I forget, I do want to point out something you can look for with the panel is we have these crosses here with the moving averages, right? And you'll see, for instance, this green plus sign will correlate with this green up arrow. And so I'd even encourage, look for where the crosses are inside of the order blocks and how they correlate with the order blocks, and can kind of tell you when, that strong move might be coming. Not necessarily confirming this order block in that way with the crosses, but when you do see a cross, it's probably setting up a zone to be looking for. So as we see, this red cross correlates with this red arrow, and so that is happening inside the order block. So this is now just highlighting our zone even more. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. That's just a small breakdown on the candle meter main and the order block gen. And until next time, best of luck trading.